Thank you for joining this session today. My name is Bob Sabra. I am currently the VP of Sales and Marketing in a company named Administrate. I oversee global sales and marketing, and part of the marketing functions that I look at revolves around a lot of digital stuff, one of which namely is the website optimization aspect, which is what we're going to be talking about today. Today, we're going to be talking about mainly three elements within the website optimization. First, we're going to talk about the concepts, and within the concepts, we have what is website optimization, what does it talk about, what does it touch really, and how can we make use of it. Second is the purpose of website optimization. Why do we use it? What are the objectives and successes that we could achieve while using the concepts of website optimization. And third, we will also look at the components of website design. To give you a little bit of an overview and take a step backwards, there is a big difference, and it's important for us to understand, between website optimization and search engine optimization, or SEO. If you look at it and try to discern it, the main element and the main difference is that as SEO or search engine optimization will be focused solely on what happens before someone goes on the website. Google, for example, and I'm saying Google because it's the most dominant search engine in the world, sends some agents to any website that lives on the web and start discerning all the elements of this website, concluding what it really wants to say, and then mapping it back to what the user is searching for on that search engine, right? Google's utmost objective is to make sure that the user that is searching for something is fully served and accurately served. Whereas when we talk about website optimization, we are looking into elements. Yes, they will have positive impact on SEO, but at the same time, their main focus and their main function is to facilitate the user experience on the website itself. And when we talk about that, really, some of the elements that come to mind when we talk about the components of website optimization, we could look at web design, we could look at web optimization, we could look at user experience, user interface. We could also look at some of the infrastructural and technical stuff on a web page. And I'll give you an example to illustrate what I'm trying to say. When Google comes to our website and starts to take all the information and try to map it out to what the user is searching for, Google will be focused on really the butter of the information on our website. And that means that some of the info which Google is getting will be accounted for in terms of how quick they are able to get it, how clean, and how straight to the point, right? So when Google sends 10 or 15 agents to 10 or 15 different websites, they're going to collect the information, and then they're going to see which website is serving that information the fastest, which website is loading that information in a very user-friendly way. Because remember, in the back mind of Google, they want to make sure they serve the user the best experience and get them to where they want and what they're looking for. And on top of all this, they also want to make sure that the actual result is completely matching with what the user is searching for. So having said all that, the elements of web optimization are not only limited to SEO elements, it also extends to look into the technical stuff, loading a web page, errors, or avoiding errors in the JavaScript and the code of a website, making sure that the website is mobile responsive, understanding the servers, understanding all of these various elements. So in this session, we're going to talk about the architecture of a website, how it works behind a CMS or a content management system, how it works actually with a server, how the database loads all the information, and how it all comes together to serve a web page to an end user. We're going to also talk about design elements and talk about UI, which are various components or elements within a web page. And we're going to talk about user experience, which is the workflow that a user goes through when they come to our website. And the more efficient, the more optimized that user experience is, the better it is for us, because we are able to gather more conversions and we are able to gather more leads or sales if we have an e-commerce website. And it's also better for showing us on search engines on the top results, because Google will recognize that the user experience is smooth. And that's where optimization comes into play. For optimization, what we're doing is we will be looking at how we can optimize the speed of a web page, how we can optimize the content dispersion within a page, and also how we can optimize conversions on specific web page to make sure that we are capturing leads that are coming on our website. And at the end, like any other function within marketing, the most important element is measurement. It's a closed loop. So we need to understand at the end what worked, what didn't work, how can we accommodate the changes, and then iterate. So at the core of the Digital Marketing Institute framework, as you guys know, is the 3 I's. You have to iterate, integrate, and initiate. And within all of this framework, it's very important to understand that when we initiate, we are able to integrate, and then at the end, we iterate after doing the measurement that is required. So looking into this, really, website optimization by definition is the art of creating and continuously improving websites to optimize the user experience and make sure that we are having high return rate from visitors who came to us in the first place that match with our ICP or ideal customer profile, and to increase conversions. And all this have a counter effect or have an automatic effect on search engines as well, because when you do this optimization properly, it's going to impact search engines, as we said earlier. Search engine optimization involves making sure that the website's information and quality are optimized correctly, right? And we say quality because it's not only about the information, it's also about the quality of the information, how unique it is, how dedicated it is, and how personalized it is for the buyer personas or the target market that we are working with here. Website versus SEO, website optimization versus SEO. Website optimization deals more with user experience, making the website easier to use, whereas SEO, it makes it easier for search engines. As we were saying, that's on the front of the search engines and serving the user to get to the right place, whereas website optimization is making sure that the user is able to navigate freely when they are in the right place, okay? The importance of website optimization varies around 4 main elements. One, it increases the user time on the site. And that does not mean that a user should come to our website and stay for 10 minutes. That is not the objective here. The objective and what we mean by this concept is we want the user to utilize the right amount of time that they need to navigate our website. It might be 1 minute. It might be 5 minutes. That all depends on the workflow that we have and what we want to achieve from capturing the visitor on our website. The other end of this is having a person or a visitor come to our website and then dropping out before getting to the optimized time that they should spend on our website. This is a very important thing because with website optimization, we're able to maximize the amount of time that a person could spend on our website. The other thing is providing a better user experience. Of course, as we were saying, there's a lot of websites where once you visit, you just start looking around, you don't know what you want to pick, and then you end up leaving the site, right? Or just looking for a competitor. That's also correlated to increasing the user time on the site. It decreases the bounce rate. Sometimes you go on a website and you feel like it's very smooth, you know where to go, you know what to get, and that's credit to understanding the buyer persona and what they really look for when going on a website. You also capitalize on return visits, especially if you are a website or a portal that is always pushing information to people using a blog or a news or whatever element that you have that is capturing new audience or recurring audience. You want to make sure that whatever you provide as an experience makes it compelling for the person on the other end who's visiting your website to come back and really experience it all over again. And of course, if you have an e-commerce engine and you want to sell, and it's the main function of your website, having a clean user experience that is really working around what the user wants will allow you to be not only high on the, it will allow you to get not only higher conversion rates, but at the same time, it will also allow you to automate from the back end the infrastructure that you have, which falls within the concepts of digital marketing and the automation around it. So when you look at the buyer's journey and you see the impact that website optimization has on the various stages of the journey, at the very beginning, when we are creating awareness with our website having clean and a well-set infrastructure, then search engines can find it easier. When search engine can find it easier, then people come to our website with a higher rate, and then they are able to find what they're looking for easier. Okay, interest in some of the product pages that we have, some of the content that we have, it will quickly be able to move the prospect that comes to our website from just looking around to actually going into the consideration phase and creating that interest. And that has to be done with various lead capturing tools or lead nurturing tools that are on our website, provided that they are optimized, clean, and then very structured. Then when you go into consideration, within the website, you have all the call to actions, all the links to make it easy for customers to make a decision or to understand better about the product. The more you have a really smooth workflow within that, the better it is for you to capture these people and put them into a bucket where consideration is at the core of it. Once that is done, we go into conversion. And at this point, I would like to highlight one thing which I feel is very important. The moment you guys are building a website, it's crucial to understand what page and what section pertains to what stage of the workflow, right? And that's really a very crucial element because I see a lot of websites that are being built looking into one stage of the life cycle only. Well, if you have a standard life cycle, if you're a business with standard life cycle similar to this one or buyer's journey, what's very important is to make sure that your website reflects that life cycle because you're going to have people that are coming looking for just general inquiries as well as having people who want to come and make a purchase right away. And the best way to handle this is to attend to each of the functions specifically. Okay, so in conversion, you want to be able to provide these users with the opportunities, with the outputs that they could go through to generate a conversion. And that could be with them actually filling a form that goes to salespeople. It could be purchasing online a product. It could be any specific goal that you agree to have addressed within the pages and the workflows that you have. Then we have retention, which is which is returning visitors, some of the suggestions, some of the content. When someone comes back, you could create some dynamic content to really reattend to what the returning visitors need and push them through a life cycle of their own where you could capitalize on the retention of those visitors. So when we make it easier for users to convert, first, it's an easier navigation all in all. Then we provide a faster checkout process when we have an e-commerce engine. Third, we have a faster website all in all, because with a faster website comes an easier journey and a quicker loading time. And then there are clear reasons to convert, and people would feel more compelled and enticed to go through the goals and objectives that you set for your website. How does this affect all the other digital marketing activities? So ranging from SEO to page speed, there's an impact for website optimization on each of those, and vice versa. Each of those elements will impact the website optimization exercise one way or the other. If we start by SEO, as I said, the design, the infrastructure, the components, the elements of the page all play a major role in what we really want to be able to achieve with the search engine result pages. We go into graphic design, and this is another element that has an impact because of the user interface component, the engagement, the branding, the colors. All this also play a major role when we are optimizing our website and its structure. A/B testing, or split testing in other cases, it's also called, to increase the conversions and to optimize the conversions of certain web pages and workflows. We want to make sure that we test different versions of the page, make sure that we have the right version in place, and that that version is what we want to actually push forward and collect leads out of it. Email marketing. With email marketing, we require a consistent design with our web pages, because really, when you have an identity or a brand guideline that you're following on your website, you want to make sure at the same time that you are following the same guidelines and infrastructure on your email marketing, and really all the other campaigns that include social media as well. So it's important to understand that the guideline or the framework that you push through your website is something that has to be used on email marketing, on social media, and other channels of lead generation or communication you have with prospects or clients. Mobile optimization is also a big and major element, because a website is not really considered a full-fledged website if it's not fully mobile optimized. And with mobile optimization, we have two different major buckets that we look at. One of the buckets is called, it's really a responsive website. So a responsive website is a website that adapts, and the word adapts here is used in its very specific context, because really it responds to the size of the page. So if you go on a website, grab the end of the page and start making it smaller, you will see that all the components will reshuffle to come into a specific position. Excuse me. Whereas when you look into the other bucket, which we call adaptive, in this case, you will have two completely different websites. One website is optimized for desktop use, and then the other website is optimized for people who are using mobiles. And normally that is used in cases where you have very rich functionality on websites that you want to take and start implementing onto a specific workflow and structure. And that normally requires more time, more effort, more costs, because these are two different websites. Whereas with a responsive website, it's one backend, one website. When you optimize or change something on the normal website, it also changes automatically for the mobile-friendly version of the website. 2 years ago, if you remember, Google made an update. It was called Mobilegeddon, whereas they gave an ultimatum to all the websites that they either go mobile friendly and attend and cater to the mobile users, or they're going to be having a big problem showing on result pages once Google is pushing search results through mobile searches. In that year in particular, I think it was around 73 to 75% of searches took place on mobile. And the problem is there were a lot of websites that were not fully optimized for mobile, and users were ending up having a bad user experience all in all. And since, as we said, Google's sole objective is to focus on what really the user wants, Then they made this change and had all of the websites adapt accordingly. And if you understand really the way that Google thinks and you understand the objectives they have behind stages that they go through, you are really able to understand how to adapt and cope with it. At all points, keep in mind that Google is always thinking about the user experience and how to make sure that whoever is searching is getting the best output out of it. Then we also have page speed, and as we said, page speed is something to consider when we are optimizing the technical aspect of the page. As you know, every page consists of some code, some HTML, some CSS, some JavaScript perhaps, some PHP or other language if there are some integrations or custom functionality. And whenever someone visits the page, all of these codes have to be run some way. So once they are run, it's important that the website is loading quickly, it's efficient, and it's providing the functionality conveniently. Whereas in pages that are not really optimized, it could take up to 1 minute or 30 seconds or 50 seconds to load components that otherwise should be loading in 1 or 2 seconds tops. So I would advise you, if you have a website, go on Google right now and type page speed insight. You will get a tool. That tool is part of Webmaster Tools, which is a Google tool to handle website backends. And then put your web page or your website on PageSpeed Insight and then run the test. Once you run the test, it will give you really a breakdown of all the do's and don'ts and all the goods and bads of your current website in its two versions, the mobile version and the desktop version. And then you will have yourself a list to understand really what are the deliverables and the objectives you could work on in order to optimize your web pages and to ensure that the speed of the serving of the content is really fully optimized.